Yo, what is up guys? Staleboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, it's revenge for Chris Eubank Jr. He stops Liam Smith in the 10th round of their rematch in what was a dominant performance. Going into this fight, I actually picked Chris Eubank Jr. on points. I felt he would be more fleet-footed in this fight, more selective in regards to his punch picking, primarily relying off the jab, using that foot speed, using that hand speed, and basically I thought he would box his way to a decision win. And at the start of the fight, it looked like that's what he was going to do. First couple of rounds, first 2 or 3 rounds were relatively nondescript. Liam Smith was trudging forward with his high guard, not really throwing much. Occasionally he would try to fire his overhand right. But Chris Eubank Jr. was sidestepping, popping the jab, doubling the jab, feinting the jab. Sometimes he'd throw the hook off the jab, giving Liam Smith different looks, different angles, and he was keeping him at arm's length. And yeah, from round 1, when there was space between the two, it was obvious it favoured Chris Eubank Jr. And Eubank Jr. made the most of that right away, boxed really well early on. Probably the best I've seen his jab. Sometimes he was snapping it, sometimes it was just quick and touching. He was doubling it up, like I said. Occasionally he would go low with it as well. Educated jab from Chris Eubank Jr. in the first couple of rounds. Started to pick it up a little bit in the 3rd round. Eubank Jr. started to fire off some power shots behind that jab, in particular the right uppercut. Chris Eubank Jr. was actually sidestepping quite well against Liam Smith. Liam Smith has a tight guard, like a high guard, and Eubank would kind of like jab, sidestep, and then fire the uppercut, which was penetrating the guard of Liam Smith, and he was also uppercutting to the body as well. Liam Smith really wasn't having any success. He was trying to time Eubank's jab with the overhand right, but nothing really was getting through, and Liam was just following Eubank Jr. around. It was a weird performance from him. The commentary team after a few rounds picked up on a moment in round 2 where I think Liam Smith tried to throw a shot and his ankle went, so maybe he hurt his ankle or something like that. It looked like he could never get punches off throughout this fight, but regardless, Chris Eubank Jr. was boxing well off that jab. He then started to mix it up a little bit in round 3, and after the 3rd round, really, Chris Eubank Jr. started to beat up Liam Smith. He caught Liam Smith with a beautiful right uppercut in the 4th round, which dropped Liam Smith to his knees. He seemed hurt by the shot. Chris Eubank Jr. jumped on him, tried to land a series of punches, let go of combinations. Smith was doing his best job to evade those shots, but some were getting through. I liked how Eubank wasn't smothering his work, he was giving himself space. But Liam did a pretty good job of surviving. Round 5, Eubank Jr. still smelt blood, came out very aggressively, hurt Liam Smith, I believe, with a right hand towards the start of round 5. Once again jumping on Liam Smith, letting go of combinations, really firing away. At one point in time, it looked like the referee was taking a close look. But once again, Liam Smith defended it as well as he could, enough to stay in the fight. He tried to fire a couple back as well while Eubank was working, but ultimately nothing that Eubank had to worry about. And after that, really, Eubank was switching it up from boxing behind the jab, picking off right uppercuts through the guard of Liam Smith, switching between boxer and boxer-puncher, and really he was just completely picking apart Liam Smith's defenses. Again, Liam Smith there was nothing coming back from him. Again, occasionally the speculative right hand or left hook, but, nothing of consequence, like I said. And yeah, throughout, to me, after round 4, round 5, it just looked like a matter of time before Chris Eubank Jr. would stop Liam Smith. Again, he was switching it up from boxing to boxer punching, etc. Good shot selection. He wasn't getting too greedy. Occasionally, Eubank Jr. would land his patented flurries, his combinations, but he was very selective with his punch placement. Probably the most economical I've seen Chris Eubank Jr., and I don't mean overly economical or economical from a negative sense. He was just picking really good shots at really good times. Probably the most thoughtful performance I've seen from Chris Eubank Jr. in his career, I would say. The best thinking performance of his career. And eventually he tenderized his man, started to go through the gears, cut Liam Smith in round 10 or at the end of round 9, something like that. And yeah, in round 10 he finished it. He dropped Liam Smith, he hurt him with a right hand, then followed up with like some clubbing shots. Liam Smith got bundled over and, beats the count once again. Chris Eubank Jr. then jumps on him once again and the referee rightly waves it off. And that was it. I didn't give Liam Smith a round in this fight. I don't think you can score him a round. Dominant from Chris Eubank Jr. start to finish. Good jab, good speed, good movement, good punch placement, that sort of stuff. And yeah, he dominated the fight, and he continues his career now. I know this series of fights is 1-1, but I don't want to see a third fight, quite frankly. I'd rather see, I guess, Chris Eubank Jr. go on from here and have a big fight. He mentioned a few names post-fight. Conor Benn, once again. By the way, based on that performance, if they can't get Chris Eubank Jr. at a catch weight or a rehydration clause, I don't think they fight Chris Eubank Jr. A healthy Chris Eubank Jr. beats Conor Benn, not a drained Chris Eubank Jr. He also mentioned Kell Brook, no interest whatsoever in that fight. Kell Brook should stay retired. He also mentioned Gennady Golovkin. I would still watch that fight, by the way. I know Golovkin's way past it, but I'd still watch Chris Eubank Jr. versus Gennady Golovkin. I think it'll be a good fight. But yeah, he's looking for big fights. He continues his career. We'll see what he does next. But yeah, dominant performance by Chris Eubank Jr. As for Liam Smith, at this point in time, 35 years old, bad performance, took a bit of a beating, being a world champion, probably best he retires, in my opinion. I don't really see what's left for Liam Smith, quite frankly. I don't really see what's left for him. But yeah, so I think he should retire. But anyway, share your thoughts below. What did you make of Chris Eubank Jr.'s performance? And yeah, where does he go from here? Peace.